What's up, guys? Welcome back to another vlog with me, Anakin, telling you guys about whatever. Today, I felt inspired to talk to you guys about integration and self-love, and we talked about the shadow self yesterday. So I wanted to talk about integration and how to love every part of yourself, regardless of what you think about that part of yourself. And so this is where you are choosing to love yourself completely. And that's why it's called integration. You're integrating your complete self into the present moment rather than holding any part of yourself back. You're just completely integrated. And therefore, from that integration point, you can create new ideas. You can have this space to create whatever you want into this brand new identity. So just going back over it, yesterday we talked about the shadow self is created at the same time as the ego identity. And when the ego identity has or witnesses a death, there's a non-ego space that is created. And then the shadow self, which is the true nature of one's being, is integrated into you. And now that you've become integrated into the shadow, now you can create a new ego into that non-ego space, which would be your alter ego, or which would be your new creation, or which would be just whatever you want to be. And this is where we see celebrities do the name change. This is where we see people in general do the name change, or they go through a change of wardrobe or a change of being. It's because they're creating a new identity. And that normally happens after an ego death, which is a loss of identity, a loss of the old identity, which was created by the surroundings. So I really wanted to talk to you guys about integration and loving those parts of yourself, because it's really important that you do in order to fully integrate. So like, for instance, if I identified at 10 years old as somebody who is always on time, and then now I'm 22 years old, for 12 years I've been an on-time person, the integration of myself would be, okay, my true nature knows that there's divine timing. He knows that he's always going to be at the right place at the right time, regardless of what it looks like out here in the 3D world. So integrating him would be loving him for being a late person and still loving him anyways, and loving him for being this slow, late, not on time person. And as an on time identity, it sometimes can be hard to love that part of yourself. Okay. And this is all reflected in your outside world. So when you're neglecting a part of yourself, because out here in the real world, when somebody's late, or them over there is late, you're like, oh, I hate it when they're late. Well, you're only noticing that in another person because that's a part of you that has been neglected. And you're actively hating it, which means you're actively hating yourself. And so we can use our community. We can use the way that we interact with our community to figure out, okay, what about myself am I loving, and what about myself am I not loving? Okay? Because it's all love. So if there's anything that you're resisting or pushing against, then that's going to be not serving you. And so you want to be serving yourself completely. You want to be fully integrated. Okay? Because after you integrate the fact that you're a divine timing being, and that this was just an identity, and that you come into this non-ego space, then you can create a new identity, which around new belief systems, and still love every part of yourself. Instead of being on time for others, to people please, so that you get validation and acceptance from others in the outside world, you can come up with your own reasons for being on time. And you won't need that outside validation at that point, because you'll be self-loving. That part of yourself which actually needs the love. The part of you that's ambitious, that's determined, that gets everything done, that's always on time. Like the part of you that society loves, and that your parents love, and that your siblings love, that part of you is so easy to love, because everybody in your world around you is reflecting that love back to you. So it's so easy for you to just be like, oh, I love this part of me, I love this part of me. But our shadow self, these aspects of, what's not okay with society, what's sort of taboo, what's sort of, not with the lines, um, what's not with the status quo. And you may find somebody who's, with you on that. And so you sort of start this little rebellion where it's just you and them and you guys love each other. But that can lead to codependency. So you want to love that part of yourself first and love yourself completely through integration. And so I sort of was talking about it already, but what you want to do is you want to figure out what is it that you see in others that you don't like. Okay. What behaviors are you seeing in other people around you that you are not appreciating or liking or loving? And these behaviors that you're noticing, if they stir up emotion within you, then that is definitely a reflection of you and your behaviors. And this is how I sort of do it. So if I see that somebody is affecting me emotionally, and it's because of something that they're doing that has nothing to do with me, like they're late, or they do something like they leave all their dishes out, or they do something that's like it doesn't actually affect me in my real life. Like, grand scheme of things, nothing really is affecting you, like, ever. Grand scheme of things. But let's say they leave their dishes out, and that stirs me, okay? Or maybe in the past it would have stirred me. But I have to take full responsibility, which was another video that we did. But if those dishes have been left out of my presence, that's a part of me. Like, I manifested those dishes to be left out of my presence. So if I want them to be clean, I will clean them. And but I have to do that for me. And if I allow myself to let those dirty dishes go on the counter, then I must love that part of myself as well. Or if I leave my dirty dishes out, I must love myself in doing so. So, like, unless I have a personal reason for cleaning those dishes, then cleaning the dishes is just seeking the outside approval of others. So it's sort of this line that you walk on, where you want to do things for the right reasons in your own mind. And you want to make sure that before you do something, you're doing it out of self-interest and self-love. Because only from those points can you actually exude love out of your vessel in a way that others can receive it. So you're not cleaning the dishes to please others, or you're not cleaning the dishes to validate others or get the love from others, or because your roommate's going to tell you blah, 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 blah. If you don't, you're cleaning the dishes for you. And if it's not for you, then you're not doing it. Right? And so this is how you integrate. You start doing things for yourself. You start to look at this word self-interest. And you start to say, okay, where am I self-interested? And where am I projecting myself onto others? Like, let's say Sally or Benson or whatever is late, and that makes me mad. That's a projection, because that has nothing to do with me. And actually, in the grand scheme of things, that doesn't affect anybody, that Sally or whatever's late. It doesn't affect anybody. So the fact that it's stirring emotions within me means there's something within me that needs love that I need to look into, to integrate that part of myself into my embodiment. And you can do this for many different things. Anything that emotionally stirs you in another person, you take it, you look at it, you say, okay, what about me is causing this situation to happen? And if there's any aspect of the self or any aspect of another that you are thinking negatively towards, you're pushing against something. And in this universe, when you push against something, you attract more of it, because you're pushing energy into it. So that's the law of attraction. You want to push into the things and provide energy for the things that you want in your life that make you feel good. If something's not making you feel good and you're pushing against it, you're going to get more of it. And that's why you have these pet peeves that come up over and over and over and over again, because you're pushing against them. And as you push against them, the universe says, okay, yep, we're going to give you more of that, because that's more energy that's going towards that thing. And as more energy goes towards this thing, more and more of that thing persists in your life. And then you start to develop this habit of thought of, oh, this is just going to happen. Oh, this is just going to happen. And so why integration is important is because it allows you to, at all now reality moments, be able to take and discern between, is this me? Okay, is this actually my true nature? Is this my true nature? Or is this my ego identity that I've picked up to get pleased or to receive the love of others? And so this is called discernment. Knowing the difference between the true nature and the ego identity that you've picked up along the way. And the spiritual work is this process. It is discerning between, okay, in this now reality, in this now moment, am I choosing my ego identity or am I choosing my true nature? And how you can tell is, am I people pleasing or not? Am I seeking outside validation? Am I doing this because of something that somebody told me? Am I doing this because of a reason that I actually have reasoned out in my own mind? Is this for what my values are, which are like love, acceptance, peace, all is good? Or am I doing it for me, right? Like, am I doing it for them or am I doing it for me? And it could be the same exact thing, like being on time. But if you're being on time for the validation of others, then you're doing it out of an ego identity place. If it is your true nature to be on time and you're doing it just for you, then it's the same exact thing in this three-dimensional 3D reality. But there's a different process that's happening within that is more loving, that is more self-integrated, that is more self-interested. You have more power within you when you do things for yourself. And what happens is the people around you will just naturally start to see that you're glowing. They will start to see that you're loving yourself, and that love will exude onto them. They'll see parts of them that love themselves because you are so in love with yourself. And that's really the only way to bring that out in others. Because as healers, you don't do any healing to anybody. All you do is you be a light, which means you are you. You love yourself. And by being that example, be the example, you will cause others to see that. And then by just seeing you, that's how they heal. By just witnessing somebody who loves themselves. Because a lot of times people just need an example, need something to model themselves off of. And this is why you have the monk meditating up in the mountains. He's a model. He's a model. He's somebody who is presenting an idea to society. Like, this is also a way to live. So you don't have to go meditate in the mountains, and you don't have to heal others, because just by being self-interested, just by having that in yourself. Sorry. Anyways, yeah. So it's a daily process, and and every situation that you encounter with new people or new energy, and this is why you want to put yourself out there. This is why you want to go hang out with the friends. This is why you want to go date the girl and do the things and go to the bars and do whatever, integrate, go to the business meetings, go to the seminars, go to wherever you feel like you fit in, or feel like you want to fit in, or feel like whatever you feel drawn to. Go out and be about with other people. Because what people are going to do is they're going to show you a reflection of you. And regardless, if you see bad stuff, if you see good stuff, if you see vile, disgusting stuff, if you see putrid, ugly stuff, that's fine. Like, do it. Make it happen. Because anything you see in others is something that's within yourself that needs to be loved on. And you're just going to get value out of it. Especially if somebody, especially if you see something that you really don't like. That's a lot of value, because you're experiencing something that you're like, oh, wow. I see that in them. Therefore, it's probably somewhere in me that needs to be loved that's doing that. And it just allows you to see a lot of different angles about your own psyche when you integrate with others. Okay? And especially when you're using it in a sense of I'm an all-powerful God creator made manifest in human form, and I'm using the law of attraction at all times just as everyone else is. So when I use the law of attraction to attract this behavior out of somebody, it's because I attracted it. And so because I attracted it, I'm going to research it. I'm going to look into it. I'm going to figure out, okay, what about me? What about me is causing this? Always that. It's always that. It's always that. It's always what about me? What about me? What about me? And the reasoning for that is because that's how growth happens. Ooh. 1 second, I'm going to get some water. Okay. All right. All right. So yeah, I still had just my first day at the Cracker Barrel in Waco or Hewitt, Texas. I still got that sales thing lined up for later this week. And I'm just doing orientation. And then I have my own little set of tables. And I met these guys, and I don't know, maybe today's Ethan Havis's birthday, so I got maybe invited to go down to Austin today. Probably just to have a good time, maybe go to some bars or something. Maybe rap with them. That would be fun. So yeah. Well, it's been real. It's been about integration. Maybe a little bit of a catch up. Maybe I'll go out to Austin today, but love you guys. Keep up the good work. See you later.